Welcome back to Bite Size Sports. It is a special episode, a first of its kind, for more reasons than one, but not the least of which, in fact, the
Mhm.
most important of which, being my dear friend James is
Oh,
here
flatter me, Kev. Flatter me.
from the bounce. Yes, sir.
Flatter
On
me,
top
buddy.
on top of this, I won't bury the lead. We are doing a first ever bracket builder episode here.
hmm
All right, so that is also very important to the network. But James, my dear friend from the bounce, you are a bit of an expert when it comes to certain things in
I
college
am,
basketball, are you
Kev.
not?
I am. I was in college athletics and college basketball for 10 years. I was at Wichita State for two and we went to the Final Four, went undefeated. Then I was at Bowling Green State for a year, your rival. And then I was at Indiana State for the last 7 years, and I got out last summer, and that's kind of how we got the bounce going. But I wore my retro ISU logo. I'm going to rep Larry Bird for this episode.
Oh, I love that so
Yeah,
much.
we're
Thank you for doing that.
rocking the alternate old school Larry Bird for tonight as we build through this.
I may have to place an order with you for one of those
Oh, they're so
for,
nice. They're
for the
so nice.
future. That is fantastic. And a little bit of backstory. Maybe some of the longtime listeners know it, but you might not. The Indiana State tie. That's another bonus for us because my
hmm
love of basketball was built around, yes, the legend of Larry Bird himself, but I spent many a day watching Indiana State basketball games as a youth in Terre Haute.
hmm
So yeah,
You
it's
did.
really cool for us for me to have you on here for us to talk about this. We are
hmm
connected in multiple ways because, as you mentioned, I spent some time on the staff as a team manager for the Toledo Rockets, my beloved Rockets, who
hmm
are going to do some damage in the NIT, I hope. But they
Oh,
did
they
have
were
a great
close, man.
season,
They were
man.
close. They were close.
They were close, but they didn't quite have what it takes to make the committee standards. And I have one question for you, James, here, really to prep before we dive in here
hmm
and start having some fun. Speaking of standards, what are your standards or what are the traits that you're looking for when you're looking at a team that you're thinking, all right, these guys are going to make a deep
hmm
run?
I love the 10 games leading up to the tournament. How are they playing right now? There's my favorite example is going all the way back to Kimball Walker in the old Big East when he won like 6 games in 6 days and then turned around and won. They won another six to win the tournament, whatever it was. I think it was 11, 12. I think it was 10, 11, 12 straight. Like how you're playing now matters. Then I look at guard plays huge. What do you guys got there? Do they have all conference guys? Are they deep? Are they lacking in bigs? How do they score? Do they shoot it from three well? And I think the last one is defense. Like I don't think college is gone the way of the NBA all the way just yet. Like college, you still got to play defense to win. The Baylor team from 2 years ago is a perfect example of a team that just locked down the tournament. Like I don't think we have any teams like that, but you got to be able to play D when your offense doesn't travel with you here.
I agree with you. And I'm not surprised to see that we have a couple of overlaps here. So I have
Mm-hmm.
it. The three traits that I have that I look for most importantly, I look at defense, as you said, and you hit the nail on the head. Defense can win you championships in this
Mm-hmm.
realm, in this sport, and we'll see a few teams out of this 68 where we're like, yeah, wow, they might hold you to 40.
Yeah.
But
Mm-hmm.
and then for me, I have a good point guard. Now I used to have that regulated to a senior point guard. I used to want a point
Yeah.
guard with some experience. But I think at this point, at this stage of the game, you can have some freshman point guards who have played enough meaningful basketball that you can kind of, if you have a guy you can count on, but you need to have a point guard you can trust. You need to have that second coach out on the floor who knows when to run a set, knows when to push it into transition. And my third and biggest one, and people who hear me write about the NBA are used to this, depth. The word of the day is always depth for me.
Mm-hmm.
We talk about this on the bounce at times, James. You know how much I love depth. I think tournament play, just like in playoff basketball, is when rotations shrink. And so, if you have the ability to get your key guys a breather and there's not much of a drop from your output, if you have a couple of guys who can come in and hit a few threes off the bench or whatever it
Mm-hmm.
is, lock somebody up defensively, I think that gives you an advantage in a tournament style where you're playing multiple games over a short span. So that's usually what I'm looking for,
Mm-hmm.
at least on the court. Of course, I think, Coaching, of course. I think
Yeah.
we all have our favorites. We all have our coaching trees at this point, which there's so many storylines to get into. This one's fun.
Hmm.
One of the more fun brackets I've seen in a long time, which leads me to.
And I don't think, Kevin, you can disagree. There's some teams that might have thought they got left out, but we didn't have the really good small schools that didn't win their tournaments and get left out. The Oral Roberts won it, Charleston won it. Those
Yep.
really, really, really good mid-major teams. So there's a lot of fun. There's a lot of fun matchups.
Yeah, that would be, I guess, a good question. Because I'll dive over here and start just for fun. We can actually pick the first four, I believe. But
Hmm.
before I do that, were there any snubs that stuck out to you? Because as you mentioned, I mean, there's always going to be. We could expand the field to 100, and someone will be on the bubble and feel like they had a case. But I know, so Big Ten fans, well, or at least Rutgers fans, might feel that they were slighted. I don't agree. I think that was the right choice. But is there
Hmm.
anybody that made your list of, hey, these guys should have been in the tournament? They're not here.
Not necessarily like just like you said, Rutgers. You can argue for them, but you can also argue against them. I didn't see any team where I was like, nah, they should have been in. Like this first year in a while where I'm like, I actually agree with it all. The
Yes.
bubble wasn't super strong this year. There wasn't a crazy amount of good teams that were on that bubble that I thought it made it easy for the teams that got in.
Yeah, and it might have, it'll be interesting to look into some of the scheduling. There's one team in particular that I think their seeding was impacted, and it was directly because of the way they decided to schedule this season. And so I do wonder if that has had an impact. It does feel a little cleaner this year, and I wonder if some of that has been how teams have chosen to schedule. Because you mentioned it, there have been years before where you have a lot of really good teams who just have a couple of losses here and there that kind of put them in jeopardy.
Mm-hmm.
Apples to grapefruits here, but we've seen it in football where these bigger programs, they get less adventurous. They're not willing to get as risky. And in basketball, there's 20 of those types
Yep.
of teams that could come into your house and beat you on any given night, and you really don't want to see a team that small come in and beat you.
Mm-hmm.
So I wonder how that will play out, if this will be a continuing trend where the field does start to feel a little more solidified and there's less arguing
It could
around
be
the bubble. But this first four is something I love. It's just down the road in Dayton.
tomorrow night, man. Starting tomorrow night.
I might sneak down there Wednesday night and get some footage for you
Yeah.
guys. But I guess we'll start here with Tuesday, and we'll
Mm-hmm.
just go in order. I guess we've
Yep.
got this battle of 16 seeds here. James, do you have a pick? I'm more interested, to be honest, with our 11 matchups. I have some deeper
Yep.
thoughts. Put
I
deeper
will.
thoughts into those
I
games.
agree. I will make it real quick. I'm going to go Texas A&M Corpus Christi. They played in the tournament last year. This is SEMO's first ever tournament ever, going with the back-to-back year. So Tamu, Corpus Christi, Corpus Christi, Christi,
Lock
Christi,
it
Christi.
in. I like it. Let's see. I'm agreeing with you on that. By the way, we're gonna lock in Texas A&M Corpus Christi. Easy for Crispy. I did it
See,
too.
it's always you
Easy for
screw
me to
up.
say. I like it. Well, it's a Monday, and we're all short an hour of sleep, so you're
Yeah,
gonna
I
have to bear
agree.
with
Yes,
us. Mississippi State at Pitt. Now,
this is fun.
this one is really fun, and
This one's personal to me. You know this, right?
oh, go on.
So Mississippi State's head coach Chris Jans was the head coach at Bowling Green. There, I worked for him. So this is a personal one
Oh,
for me. I got a little personal fight in this one.
so of course I can assume that that's who you're going with, right?
Yes, I think they defend at a high level. However, Kev, I'm gonna go against something I said. They shoot the three at an atrocious rate. I think I read today that they're the worst 3-point shooting team in the tournament.
I
Awful,
I
awful.
want to say Mississippi State. We're gonna jump ahead here, but that Midwest, I believe they are one of the teams that it was looked at. Yeah, if they win and play
Yeah,
Iowa
correct.
State,
Yes.
first team to 40 wins that game,
Yep.
potentially. So,
Yeah. They shot on the season 26.6% from three. Horrible, horrible. They do have Tolu Smith averages 16 and 8, so they got a good big. Like I'm gonna stick with Texas or with Mississippi State.
I'm gonna. Now, don't get used to this, folks, because we're gonna definitely be debating here some. But
Right?
I think for the sake of this, I want to root. I want to have a rooting interest. And now that I know that you're in the same coaching tree, we're going Mississippi
Yep.
State. I'm pulling a last minute audible here. I had Pitt circled, but we're gonna go with Mississippi State on this one. I like it. Now, I'm going to go with Nevada here. I think I went in the wrong one. I don't know why these are backwards. They have the 9 p.m. here on the left, so I just
Yeah,
went
I
out
thought
of
that was.
order.
I got goofy on it too. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm going to go Nevada here. What do you think, James?
Gosh,
Arizona State,
we're not going
Nevada?
to agree with everything. Just so everybody knows, we're not going to agree on everything. I don't like Arizona State. Arizona State got into the tournament because about 2 weeks ago they hit a half court shot to beat Arizona. And that win probably put them in. So I like Nevada. I think the Mountain West was a little underrated this year. There's some good teams out of the Mountain West this year. So I'm going to stick with Nevada as well. We're not going to be the same all the way. I promise, folks.
Yeah, we'll get there. Well, I don't know about this one. Texas Southern, that's who I'm going with. Who do you got in the East?
The same because Fairleigh Dickinson didn't win their league. Merrimack actually won their league, but because of that old stupid 4-year glow up rule where you have to be in the Division One for 4 years before you make the tournament, they can't play. So Fairleigh Dickinson got in on a technicality. They're losing. Texas Southern's beating them.
Yes. Ball don't lie.
Bingo.
I like that. Lock that in for your first four.
Exactly.
Now, as we start, I think I'm just going to go with the CBS. It just so happens we get to start there with Alabama as well. Does that work with you, James? We'll go
Yep.
south, work our way down, pop back up to the
Correct.
Midwest.
Yep.
All right, so this first one is going to be very easy,
Yep.
right?
We
Alabama. We can do we want to spend any time talking about them yet, or do we want to save that for the next
Let's
matchup?
save that for the next matchup. I'm all in on the ones all the way through, so I don't have any arguments there.
No surprises this year. You weren't able to beat. Why are brackets are locked? What does that mean? What?
What'd you do?
How is that possible? We can submit games at this point, right? What is?
Refresh it, maybe. What did it do?
Yeah.
What's going on?
What in tarnation? There we go.
Yeah,
Welcome to the bracket. I was like, what do you mean they're locked?
Yeah, the games don't start till tomorrow, folks.
Making a little edit note for that one. For the clip. All right. So this next one, though, is very interesting. I think we can get into this. At the very least, there are some fun
This is the
factoids in this
first
matchup.
game of the tournament. First game of the tournament.
Oh, the 12-15. This is what kicks us off right
off
here. Okay.
Thursday, yep.
And we got Maryland against, well, not only the winningest active coach in NCAA currently, but now currently my favorite, non-homer, my favorite head coach that I have really no connection to. I love me some Huggy Bear. I loved Jim Boeheim, so it's a nice natural fit for me. And I'm going to be honest up front with my bias. I have two big reasons for picking this. Well, actually, there's three, so I'm sorry, James. Hopefully I don't take all of yours. Huggy Bear's number one. Number two is I believe, 5 seniors that West Virginia start. And number three is that Maryland's not going to get to play this game at home. So for those
they
reasons,
are absolutely atrocious on the road. Awful. If this was at Maryland, this isn't the question. However, it's not. They're bad. They're bad on the road. Like you said, West Virginia's got seniors all over the board. They got Herrick Stevenson, who it seems like's played for every school in America. He's only played for 4. Wichita State, Washington, South Carolina, and now West Virginia. It's I think I'm gonna agree. I don't know a ton about either of these teams. I haven't watched either of them, but I do like West Virginia in this match. I like Huggy Bear in this matchup. I agree with you.
Lock it in. Now, we'll have to figure out what's going to happen when we disagree.
I know. It's going to be something.
I think what we can do, or at least, is share this on Twitter, and then I can post it to the channel. We can have our separate versions of this, because we are definitely going to disagree. Yeah. That way we can keep track. And I will set up a bite-sized sports group for all of you at home if you want to play along with us and see if your bracket beats ours, because it just might. Who knows? Let's see. Next up, we have. I'm gonna have to open some of these up
South Dakota.
eventually, but this is
It's
South Diego's or South
San
Diego,
Diego,
San Diego State and Charleston, right?
Charleston. Yes, that's San Diego State and
Oops.
Charleston. Yep, yep,
No,
yep,
this
yep.
is what I want. Is the info? There we go. I've not made
There
a
we go.
pick
Yeah.
yet.
Oh, yes, yes, yes.
Maybe I have not foreshadowed this. Maybe I have. James, I'm going to let you start because I took all of the good talking points last time.
I
So, in all
think
fairness,
we're
what are your
about
thoughts?
I think we're about to argue for the first time. I am all in 12-5 matchup. Charleston 31-3, Kev. 31-3. They also mass sub. They're maniacs. They just sub them out like crazy. They shoot it like maniacs as well. Not at a high clip, but they shoot a ton of threes.
Yes.
I am
Yes, they
all
do.
about Charleston. This is one of those teams I was really hoping wouldn't lose the tournament because they probably wouldn't have got in and they'd have been 30-4. This one's gonna be fun.
I,
But I
I
am
agree
all in
with
on
you that it's
Charleston.
fun. I think you're right. I think we're going to argue here in a sense. Now, I want to start by saying that I agree with everything that you've said, and Charleston is fun, and this I think is going to be one of those potential bracket building or bracket busting games
Mm-hmm.
early on, right out of the gate, because 512s are already a trendy. They're a sexy pick. You're already looking for your 512s, right? We know we get one every
Yep.
year, statistically speaking. So, and of course, Charleston has the record. They are great offensively. San Diego State, though, and we've talked about it, they're one of the best defensive teams
Oh yes, they are.
that's in the tournament. So, and I've seen them against some other good three point shooting teams in their own conference, be able to outmuscle those teams, win those games. So for that, I'm going to stick with San Diego State for now. I'll
Mm-hmm.
be honest with you, I'm really torn on this one. I'll probably overthink it and flip flop a couple times on this
All
before we're
right.
all
So
said and
how do
done.
we fix a tie? How do we go about this? We flipping a coin? What's the deal here, Kev?
Yeah, how should we do that? Now we can get some comments in here, and what I would do then at that point is probably go by either a first vote or a popular vote. But yeah,
Mm-hmm.
we've got. You know what we'll do for this first one? We're gonna give it. We're gonna go the gentleman route, and we're gonna give the guest the
Oh
pick.
wow,
I
you're
think
this.
that's
I'm glad
yeah.
you're a gentleman. I'm glad you're a golfer. I'm not. This is win or go home, bud. Win or go home.
It helps that I don't hate this pick at all, so it's not hard for me to, I don't know that I'll roll out the red carpet every time. Now, this next one might get us right back into it, but I don't know, James.
Oh,
If you're going 12-5 the game before, then I really like the possibility of us having a 12-5 and a 13-4 right
4.
there in the same
Yeah,
bracket.
I can see it. I have not watched Furman at all this year. I don't know anything about him. I know Bobby Ritchie's a heck of a coach. They've been really good in the SoCon for years. They just never broke through because they had Wes Miller, they had Forbes in that conference. I tend to lean towards Virginia because it's still Virginia. But if you are liking Furman, I'm all about let's do it.
All right, let's do it. Okay. Yeah, because and it's not a knock here against Virginia, but they're a good team. I think they're kind of vulnerable. And
Mm-hmm.
you talked about that final 10. You've got, Furman's winning some games right
Yeah.
now. And it's not nearly as popular of a pick as I thought it would be. So I will say this. I've done a lot of research today. I'm not on an island here. We're not on
No, no.
Furman
A
Island.
lot of people are. I see a lot of people picking them.
So let's see. Next up, we have. Ooh, I love this one. Creighton, NC State.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna let you go first. I have
I
some
have
strong feelings here.
I have watched so much Creighton in the last 3 weeks. So Creighton, I'm from Nebraska. Creighton's best basketball team in Nebraska. I have. They were rated number 6 in the nation at one point this year. They lost a lot. They lost the Big East tournament. I love them. They've got size. They've got shooting. They've got a great lead guard. I love Baylor Shireman. I am all in on Creighton. I'm all in on Creighton.
Lock it in. I think this might be the easiest 6-11 game for me to pick.
I think so too. I agree.
I don't I don't even have much to add. Just for the sake of those at home, if you want to see a little bit more, we will scroll down here. But no, lock this one in for me. Creighton
Mm-hmm.
all day. So here we go. We are in unison here.
Yeah, yes, there we go.
And now let's get to another interesting one. Baylor. I well, okay. I'm Baylor's maybe not as interesting in the first round, but I don't know if I love Baylor to make a deep run here. A little spoiler alert. How do you feel? 93% of users are
Man,
locking Baylor
I
in.
fell in love with Baylor about 3 weeks ago, and then I watched him play, and I fell out of love so fast.
This is
this is
not the
no,
Baylor of a few years ago.
this is not the national title Baylor team. I agree. I think they're fine in the
Look at
first
that.
round. I don't. Yeah, that's how the Big 12 is just wild this year. I think they're fine in the first round. I like Baylor to win this first round. I
Yeah.
get a little worried for them after this.
Yeah, absolutely.
By the
Lock them
way,
in for the first round.
Trev is all in on Creighton too. You see that? Trev's
Oh,
all in
let's
on Creighton.
go. Welcome, Trev. Absolutely glad to have you here.
Yeah.
Let's get it. Creighton, let's lock that in. Trevor, we want to know what you think about this one up here too, though. When you get a chance, San Diego State, Charleston. That was our first big debate. So maybe you can be the deciding factor. But so far we're going upset city in here. So James, let's. This next one is one of my favorite games on Thursday. Missouri at Utah
This one
State.
is. Did you see? So Utah State is favored in this game.
Wow.
They're two and a
Okay.
half point favorites.
I did not see
This game
that.
is so much fun. This game is. This is. I think you're right. Glancing at Thursday, it's one of the in the. It's one of the handful of ones where I am very excited. They're currently on. They're 1.5 point favorites right now.
Yeah, I will be locked in. And excuse my shameless plug, but I just was told a couple hours ago that I'll be able to hop from game to game during March Madness
Oh,
on
you will?
playback
That's
TV.
awesome.
So, yeah, you guys can watch the games with me all Thursday and Friday. I took the days off of work. We'll be here talking about college basketball while it's happening. So, playback TV, and then we'll do some post game stuff here on the YouTube channel. So,
Mm-hmm.
anyway, back to this game. Do you like Utah State as much as everyone else does?
Man, it's so tough. So I haven't seen them play. I watched them a little bit. Their title game, I don't know if it was Saturday or Sunday. I've watched Missouri. Kobe Brown's really good. Missouri's got a bunch of Valley transfers: Noah Carter, Sean East. Oh man, I don't know. I don't know.
It's a tough one. I'm personally I'm going with the groupings here. I'm going with Utah State. I know it's
I'm
the
cool with
trendy
that.
pick.
I'm cool going with that too. Like, that one. I'm very excited for that game.
It's going to be a lot of fun to watch, and maybe even to live bet if that's your thing. I definitely will be. I cannot wait. Just this, like you said,
There's something.
it's the most wonderful time of the year.
I've been going around, Kev, whistling that Christmas song. It's the most wonderful time of the year. That's all. I just can't get out of my head right now.
I'm nostalgic for Christmas most times of the year, but I'm also nostalgic for this Arizona Princeton game. This
Yep.
is like something out of the 90s for me.
Yes, it is.
But it's not your father's Princeton in a sense, right? It's not the same backdoor cut heavy offense that it used to
Mm-mm,
be.
mm-mm.
But what
All
do you
that
think?
flex stuff. It's not that.
I miss it. I love it. But there's still a pretty good squad here. I don't know. Arizona, 96% of users have
Arizona's
them.
so good. They are
Hard to pick against them.
national title good. I'm all in Arizona. We're in.
Sorry, Princeton. It'll be fun to watch you for the first half. I don't even know. I'd love to see it stay close. But yeah, I'm with you there. I think Arizona has a real chance to be talked about in this range
Yep.
when it comes to this bracket. So we're we're gonna just finish the whole section and then move on, right? Is that
Yep.
how we
Yep.
want to do it? Okay.
That's fine with me. Yep.
So let's get into this. Is where this gets exciting,
Yep.
but maybe not necessarily this matchup as much. So Alabama, this is exciting because we didn't get to talk about them yet, and there's a lot to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
If we just stick in two X's and O's on the court,
They're unbelievable.
they're almost unbeatable unless they're just missing their threes that night, right, James?
Yep.
What would a team have to do to beat Alabama?
Man, you've got to make them miss threes. You can't let them get offensive rebounds. You got to hold Brandon Miller in check. You got to guard. Like, it is going to take a monumental effort to beat that team. They are, I mean, they're the top seed in the tournament for a reason. I don't know if I agree that they should be the top seed, but they are. Oh man. Oh boy. Good luck. Good luck against that team.
It's a tough one in trying to decide when Alabama's going to lose, but it's not here.
Yep. Not here. It's
All
not here.
Huggy Bear deserves his one win. You know,
Yep.
all-time winningest active coach. Let him get
Yep.
his one, and
Mm-hmm.
we will see you next year. But so moving on to Upset
Oh, upset city.
City. So if we've got Charleston versus Furman, this one,
This would be
unfortunately
wild.
for Furman, this one becomes a lot easier for me. You can see only 13% of users have
Yeah.
these two
Have this
getting here
matchup.
and
Yep.
winning. So I would pick Charleston in this one all day. I
I
don't.
will too. I
Yeah.
think we're gonna ride the Charleston train.
Say this is your pick.
Or
Now
we
I
have
would
we have a double digit seed in the Sweet 16. We put them there.
let's see, just for the sake of argument, let's just say if Virginia
Yeah, to switch
holds
it and see what
court and they do what they should have, do you think Charleston has a chance to beat that Virginia team?
I don't think so,
And I
but
am just
maybe
for the
just
fun
just
of it.
just
I
to
just
see
want
what
to
it
see
says.
how many
The
56 people I've
56%.
picked. 56%. Yeah, so we're
I
going to switch
don't
it back
think
to what it
so,
was.
but man, I don't rule out anything. This tournament's wild. We're gonna pick it all, and we're gonna be completely wrong, and it's gonna be
Yeah.
wild, and it's gonna be awesome.
Well, hey, you guys are going to be fans of me again, I think, early on, because spoiler alert, I like Creighton over Baylor in this matchup.
I do too. I don't like Baylor at all this year, and I love Creighton's offense. I love Kalkbrenner. I love Shireman. I love that team.
It is looking good. I'm going to just show your boys in their last 10
Yeah.
just so everybody can get a little sample of
Creighton's
that.
had a weird that Villanova loss for Creighton was so bad.
But hey, losing to Marquette by 2, I know it's a loss. That's a pretty good
Yep.
team there too. You know, I like this team. I'm really not in love with Baylor, as you have said,
I agree.
so we can lock this one in. And what that takes us to Utah State, Arizona. Am I
Yeah.
going to let it ride with the Cinderella story in Utah? What do you think, James? This is
I think the old big boys from Arizona just bully on through. Utah State's dream season comes to an end.
Yep, absolutely. No reason to even put a whole lot of thought into that one. I think even if Missouri is the winner here, I'm very confident at Arizona
I
up
am the
until
same.
this
Yep.
next point.
Yep.
But let's first things first. If it's anybody, obviously I think Alabama and Charleston would make the
We're
world
the one.
explode.
We're the 1% over there.
It would be a 3-point barrage. But let's just say, is there any team currently that you think would keep Alabama out of the Elite Eight? Like, is there any path they could take?
In that group of teams they could play, I don't. Maybe Virginia, maybe, but I don't think so. I don't think any
Yeah.
team's good enough. Alabama to the Elite Eight, and I think it's pretty handily.
Yep, I agree. I think we're running chalk on this side for now. Now this one's interesting.
This
Are
is
you
fun.
going to keep it riding with the hometown
Oh
team, or are you going to
man,
go with the big
you know what?
Empire
You know
overdogs in the
what? I am.
Pac-12?
I'm gonna ride it. I'm gonna roll it with Creighton. Creighton somehow keeps it going, pulls off the upset against Arizona.
And
That's
I
that's
like 11%. Let's do it. I'm not. I mean, so
that's
I
a
would
that's
say,
a big boy matchup.
yeah. I would say I am kind of torn on this one. When it comes time, if I am in any brackets where I'm paying money or anything, I might be
This one's
thinking about this
tough.
one a little longer. Which is the problem with these. You'll tinker and flip flop back and forth, and ultimately change your mind
Oh
20
yeah,
times.
that's
So.
why I wrote mine down today. I'm like, all right, it's down. I'm not changing it no more.
I always say last year my joke bracket was the only one that did well, which is why you should never do a joke bracket. You've just cursed any of your money brackets
Yep,
if you decide to do one as a meme, because that'll be the only good one. So here we
that's the
go.
truth too.
Creighton and Bama.
God, I wish I could go farther with him. I don't think I can. I hate that Bama's. I'm going to put him in the Final Four, but I don't. I just don't see it. What do you think, Kev?
I I agree with everything. I just wish I could retweet that sentence. So I think
All right.
it would have to take. I mean, a lot could happen, but it's going to have to take some sort of chaos that we don't see
Yes.
yet
Mm-hmm.
for Alabama to not make it to the Final Four, at
I
least
think
as
so
we've
too.
built it. So there we go. That
We have
moves
our
us.
first team in.
Yeah, moves us to the East region here with our first number 1 seed. So I'm pretty sure I know where you're going with this, but should I lock Purdue in here?
Go ahead and lock Purdue in. Go ahead. 7-footer. They're not.
Oh,
Nobody's stopping them that first game.
now I think this one will be interesting to
Mm-hmm.
discuss. Wow, the disrespect continues for
So
Florida Atlantic.
disrespectful.
Wow,
I
I was just about to
watched.
say it. Go ahead, James.
I watched both of them. I watched FAU one Saturday in Memphis. I am. I'm a Penny Hardaway hater. I don't like those
Mm.
teams. I was impressed with them in their win against Houston, although Houston was missing the best player, the conference player of the year, who was out. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna go with FAU 31-3, 18-2. Like I get let's do it. Let's ride
Lock it in.
FAU.
That's who I would, because that was going to be my
They're a
whole
9
rant
seed,
here.
man. Think about that. They are a 9 seed.
It's they shouldn't. I really don't feel like they should be a 9 seed. I don't know. Obviously, the strength of schedule. No games against top 25. There,
No.
I get it. Like it. On one hand, it feels disrespectful, but on the other hand, like I'm looking at the metrics right now, and I can
Yep.
understand the argument. But I really think this is a team that's going to prove a point in round one.
I think so too.
I do like this matchup. I don't. I want to love Penny Hardaway because I'm a nostalgic
Yep.
man at heart. So, but we're going
Tough
FAU.
draw, Penny.
Yep. Sorry, bud. Now another tough draw is Oral Roberts here
Oh.
as a 12. I know we normally like
Oh.
12s over 5s, but it's hard to not like
I
Duke
hate
a
this.
lot right
I
now.
hate this draw so much. Like I love Oral Roberts. I was like, Duke just won the ACC and gets a 5.
It's just no one win. Yeah, it just feels
Uh,
bad for everybody.
I agree. Like I just, and this is the same. Oral Roberts' leading scorer when they went on that run to the Sweet 16 a few years ago is still there. Max, I don't know if it's Abmas. I can't say his last. I always thought it was Max Abrams, which is not correct.
Abmas. Yeah, right here.
Abmas, yeah, like
If I'm pronouncing it right, but
yeah,
yeah.
and that's what I think. I don't. I'm not sure. Listen, this wouldn't surprise me at all if Oral Roberts wins this and goes on a run at all. I am going to go with Duke. I just think they're playing really good at the right time. Like,
Yep.
I think, I guess, don't forget, Oral Roberts got a 7-footer too. That's transfer from Arkansas. It was really good. Like, this game's fun. This is so fun. And I think it's Duke, but man, like, I'm not going to sit here and tell you I'm all in. They're 6.5-point favorites. I can't believe that.
It's
This one, that's so fun.
I think it's going to be a good game. Give me Duke in this one.
Yep.
It's I there are a couple of these games as a fan, I love that I get to watch these two teams play, but I hate it for those two
Yep.
teams knowing that
Mm-hmm.
someone's going
Yes.
to
Like, God, I
lose.
wish it was somebody else. I
And
just,
why can't I root for Oral
yeah.
Roberts in this one?
Mm-hmm.
And there are other ones like that. Now, here's a different, almost like opposite ends of the spectrum here, because here you have a Tennessee team that's kind of
Trending in the
been,
wrong direction.
yeah, they're going the opposite direction. Now, I admittedly don't know much about the Raging Cajuns, but as a Cajun myself, I'm torn here. I was literally born at the University of Tennessee Hospital, man. So,
Yeah.
what am I supposed to do here? I got to pick the Volunteers.
I think so too. I just don't think they're making it past the next round without Zakai. Zakai Ziegler tore his ACL a couple weeks back. They're starting point guard. They're one of their best defenders. I think they get through this game. I do not think they make it very far. I think they just that loss hurts them a ton.
Yeah,
He
that
was their most
four
important
and
player.
six. Oh yeah, I mean, when you look at them, if you just did a Team A and Team B here,
Mhm.
I think a lot of people are gonna take the Cajuns on this one. So this one's weird, but yeah, we'll go ahead and pick Tennessee. And for the record, I want to make sure we get this call out. Yeah,
Oh
we'll probably be
God!
talking about Duke again, but
He loves them Dukies. He loves them. Loves them.
fantastic. All right, what is next? Ooh.
This one.
UK versus Providence.
So Providence's leading scorer, their best player, transferred from Kentucky.
Yep, the big storyline. I was talking. We
Uh-huh.
mentioned it earlier. There are some cool storylines in here. This is one of them. A shot at redemption.
Yeah.
Uh, you could hardly script this any better. I probably should have used a better word, but what are your thoughts here? We're looking at the injury report. We do have a
Oh.
couple of guys that they'll be looking at, but
Yeah, I think it's Bryce Hopkins is from. I think he's Kentucky. If I'm right. What
it's
time
a
is it?
tough one here. I'll scroll up here. It should
I'm just
have
trying
it.
to find it. I just want to see. Kentucky.
It is
That game
Friday at 7:10.
Friday. I've got the Thursday games up. Okay, hold on. Let me switch to Friday. I think Bryce is the guy that's. I don't know, Kev. Like, man, I want to pick Providence, but I'm also like, is Kentucky really about to do this and lose in the first round again? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm with you right there because I this is an 11 that I like.
Providence was really good last year.
And I love the
Yes,
narrative.
Bryce played at Kentucky last year. He went from
And
2 points a game at Kentucky to 16 and 8 this year.
there's
Providence.
something about that extra motivation. Like
I agree. Like I think we're leaning towards where we want. I think we've talked ourselves into it.
this is a story. Let's do it. Can't have all these blue bloods winning.
No,
We
no, no,
got we
no.
got to shake it up a little bit here. So that takes us next another one. I know I sound like a broken record here, but
Mhm.
there are a lot of interesting matchups. Kansas State, Montana State. Who do
Do
you got?
you know who Kansas State's leading scorer is? Here's a fun trivia question for you.
I was about to just slide down and look, so no, I don't. I
It's
was gonna cheat.
Keontae Johnson. Do you remember Keontae Johnson and what he's famous for?
Oh, tell the folks.
He's the player at Florida that collapsed and almost died on the floor.
Oh
Remember
my
a couple years
God.
ago, he's the one that fell.
Yeah.
hmm
Wow.
So
Okay.
he didn't play. So let me pull this. I don't think he's played. Didn't play for 2 years. He played. So that happened at Florida. I believe it was 2000, 2021. He played in 4 games. That makes sense. Didn't play the rest of that year. Didn't play at all last year until he played 1 game. They put him in on senior night, but
Hmm.
then he transferred to Kansas State and is now their leading scorers, averaging 17 and 7.
And Marquise Noel. That's another
They
one
have
that.
Kansas State is sneaky good. I'm Kansas State all the way.
Yep, I'm Kansas State. I think this will be a fun game to watch. I think
Yes.
ultimately Kansas State is gonna. I don't know if I'll call it comfortably. I mean, obviously everyone thinks that this is a lock, so I don't think we're surprising anyone here. But Kansas State is a team that I think is going to be fun to watch in round two as
Mm-hmm.
well. So that's what's getting me excited to talk about a
Yes.
potential either Kansas State Kentucky or Kansas State Providence game. And this one's
This one's tough for me because I just don't know enough. I just know Michigan State took a bad loss to Ohio State in the Big Ten tournament, and
mm-hmm.
USC's West Coast. So I just haven't seen them at
And
all.
USC is USC, so they've made the tournament, so they're done. They've done their part.
Yes, no
Uh,
kidding, right?
that's they're just ready to be here. It's been a while. We talk about nostalgia. Yeah, I have to think really. I mean, there have been a couple of USC teams that play. It almost feels like they got one or two in them a decade. They got a Sweet 16 run every now and then, but other than that, and the Big Ten, we talk about conferences that have some showing up to do. It's been over 20 years now, hasn't it, since a Big Ten team won the
Was it
national championship?
2001? I think was the last one. Michigan State was the
I
last one
want
to
to
win it.
say, was it
It's
not
over.
Michigan State?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's been over 20 years, and I have a feeling the Big Ten is going to have a bad tournament year again. I don't think they're
Yeah.
going to do so well. But I do.
I,
You can pick whatever you want here. I'm going to agree with either. Like I don't. I'm okay
I'm going to
picking
go
that.
Michigan State. And I agree with you. I don't think they're going to have a great year, but this is a game that they're going to win, in
Yep.
my opinion. Also, uh, I will bet on Tom Izzo, especially in early rounds of a tournament.
Yes, I agree. Mm-hmm.
Here is another team I really, really like, and well, honestly, I always love Vermont. How can you not? But Marquette,
Yep. They're
maybe
good,
one
man.
of the better offensive units, like nationwide, right? Like this is a
Yes.
great offensive team.
They
Uh,
are sneaky. They easily won that Big East tournament game. They easily beat up on Xavier. I was like, dang, they're
yeah, and
good,
regular Big
man.
East regular season champs as well.
Yep.
This
Mm-hmm.
is a Shaka Smart coach team, so I don't know. I think they'll be all right on defense, right,
Uh,
in a
I
tournament.
I think so. I think this is. I think it's a great level for Shock. I think Texas was too big for him. I am all in. I think I like Marquette here.
Yep, give me Marquette. If and this is another one because I love Vermont. They historically can be a tough matchup in early rounds. It's just a bad draw for them this
Mm-hmm.
year. I don't think
Yep,
they're
just tough draw.
yep, not your year, boys. All right, moving back up. Let's see.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, does my love for Florida Atlantic
I
end here?
I think so. I don't think they can handle the big boy. I don't think they can handle Edie at 7 foot billion inches.
Now, we have not gotten to my true Homer allegiance in the world of college basketball yet,
Yeah,
but
we're not there yet. It's
it's
coming.
about to be revealed because at least a little bit because despite my inner desires, I have no choice but to pick Purdue to win here. I take
Yep. Don't see it.
literally no joy in
Yeah.
clicking this
You
button right
don't.
now,
No,
folks,
this is
but
miserable for you. But did you know what? That's
mhm,
part of doing this job, Kevs. You got to
yep.
make some tough
I'm a
decisions sometimes.
I'm a professional. Here we go. This one's more fun, right?
Yep.
Duke at Tennessee. I personally think we both are going to be in agreement here, but what you got,
hmm
James?
I think it's Duke. I think Tennessee without Ziegler is just this is the end of the line for him. If they had him, I think they could make a deep run. I don't think they can without him. However, I will
Yeah.
say, Kevin, if this is Oral Roberts versus Tennessee, I think I'm picking Oral Roberts too. Like I think the winner of that game wins this one.
Yeah. I especially with your note about the reminder that Ziegler's out for Tennessee. I don't
Yep.
hate that pick either. So yeah, we're gonna go with Duke here. Lock it in. Trevor's excited. We get
Yeah,
another
the
one for the
Dukies were I
Dukies.
know.
Here we go. We'll get it one more time for him. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. So let's see. We got that. Now we got Princeton at Kansas State. As much as I like Princeton, and we just talked about Kansas State a lot,
hmm
and we talked about it a little bit. I'll expand upon the thought process here with a story. I want to say Newell. It's not Newell. Give me the name here. I'm sorry. Keontae Johnson.
Yep, Keontae
When
Johnson.
you
Yep.
when you have these, it for whatever reason, and I think there's just a ton of reasons about not like the where these young men are in life in comparison to professionals. The fact that some of them won't ever get to be professionals in the NBA, and they're doing it for they're doing it for a lot of different reasons, but stories like that, I think they serve more to motivate a locker room in these college
hmm
environments than they would. We as content creators and journalists, we love the story no matter what the level is, but I really think I've been in some of these locker rooms with these underdog stories, and I think it
hmm
really is contagious and people can feed off that energy and that I bet with running the risk of speaking for some of these players, I bet some of them want to go out there and win it for Keontae Johnson. I'm sure he on his own fights
Yes.
that much harder and just is able to lead by example. So really, with just beyond the X's and O's, I mean, just give me Kansas State to win this one.
I agree. I like Kansas State, Keontae. I think so too. I think this is the end of the road for Providence. Big fan. I'm a sneaky big fan of Kansas State.
Yeah, may not be done singing their praises, and I may not be done singing Marquette's praises either. I will
I
just
to the next
say,
round. Tough.
yep, I'm gonna make this one quick and easy for you,
Yep.
James. I like
We
Marquette.
talked about how we just Michigan
Yeah,
State. That's it. Yep. We agree.
yeah. Let's move right on up. Purdue.
Man.
Wow.
The
You
question
know,
is, are you a believer in Purdue? And I know you can't be because your allegiance is it another Purdue team that breaks their heart or I don't
I wanted to look at the losses because you can learn a lot. I think, and there
at at
aren't.
at
Yeah,
home they got swept by IU this year.
no
Duke,
shame in
man,
that.
Duke's playing good. Duke does have, I think their big man's 7 foot, so he's not completely outmatched.
Losses to a Northwestern team, that's good.
And,
They're in the tournament for the second
all
time
the all three
ever.
of those losses are the teams that are playing this week
Yeah, and
in
Maryland
this
at home. We
tournament.
talked earlier about how difficult it is for anyone to beat Maryland at home.
Yeah, exactly. It was at Maryland, correct.
So yeah, to answer your question again, despite my pain, I do have to give the validity to Purdue.
I think
It
so. I don't. Duke has gotten really hot recently and is
it's
playing really well. I think Purdue. This might be the year they do it.
It's got to happen sometime. Now, I spoiler alert, I am done going all in on Gonzaga, but I will transfer my Gonzaga energy to Purdue this time and say
Yep.
they got to do it. This has to be the
Right.
year. All right, because I'm done saying this has to be the year for Gonzaga because I no longer believe there ever will be a year. But anyway, they'll still win some games this tournament. But anyway, let's move on before I rant about the Zags for too long. Marquette, Kansas State. In
This one's fun.
Yeah, in our world here, this is one of my favorite Sweet 16 matchups
Yep.
that we could potentially have. I I'll let you go. Where do you want to go with this one, James?
The question is, do you value the Big East? Like Marquette won the Big East regular season and postseason, is playing better right now. Where do you go with Kansas State, who played in an absolutely loaded Big 12 with a bunch of the national title favorites? A lot of losses there.
Win over a 6 seed TCU though.
Yep.
You
Yep.
know, it's a 20-point win over a quality team.
I think I lean towards Marquette. I really do. Man, I think.
I'm on the fence, so I'm gonna go with you
Okay,
with
like
Marquette right
I
now
think
because I
it's
think that's
Marquette.
where I'm leaning. Although I will say, especially the way we just talked about it and set it up, this feels like we just set it up as a Kansas State win because I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
It feels like there are those times where you look, especially if you're someone who's more of a casual fan picking at the end of the season,
Yeah.
like, oh,
Mm-hmm.
looking record wise, like, oh, this looks like a big win for Marquette, but actually, and you look into the matchups of it all, Kansas State
Yep.
may have an advantage, but
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me.
and
So
that means are we running chalk then for
so
our
we went
Elite Eight to get to the
1-2
Final
to the
Four?
Elite Eight. We went.
Wow,
This is so hard.
this is
When
going
I
to be
was looking at
subject to
brackets
change.
today, I kept coming to this one, and I just don't. Man, I don't. Kev, do you have an opinion either way?
I am I'm afraid of how high. I feel like I'm really high on Marquette, and so
Let's do
uh,
it. Let's do it.
that's just been where I've been at, and
I'm
so
I'm very surprised that they've played that many top 25 teams. The Big East is just absolutely loaded.
yeah, let's
Go
roll
to
with it.
Marquette's. Let's go to Marquette's last 10. We're gonna go with
Yeah,
them. I just want to see this.
yeah, absolutely.
Xavier, UConn, both in. Creighton in. Xavier again. Awful Georgetown team. The only losses to
No,
UConn.
Georgetown.
Georgetown was so bad this year. I mean, they've
Yeah,
been bad for a lot of years.
it's time to go.
Yeah, let's roll it.
Pack it.
Shaka Smart gets to his second Final Four ever.
I like it. I like it. I mean, listen, Purdue, you might get there. You just might,
It's
but
not. It's tough.
it's against my nature to pick it. Now, another easy one here.
Yep.
98%. We got two people going
Yep.
against the grain. They just want to be difficult. So,
Mm-hmm.
Iowa, Auburn. Do you have any thoughts here? I was told to Google Bruce Pearl versus Iowa. Apparently, there was some kind of iconic moment in the past
Really? Let's
when
see.
he coached against Iowa in the tournament before. So I'm gonna have to look that one up. But
See if I can find it.
just looking at the matchups here while you look that up, we'll see. We've got now here are two teams that have not done well on their way
No, this
at the end of
one's
the season. I'll tell you what, this is one I really like Houston's chances to win their first two games. I don't whoever we pick to win this game, I do not like their odds against a Houston team that, in my
no.
opinion, is
The only
stacked.
thing I know is that Iowa scored 13 points in like 1 minute to come back in the game, and I'm about it. So I like Iowa.
You like Iowa? That's fair. We'll go with
Yep.
Iowa. Um, yeah, I'd love to rock with Bruce Pearl, but no, we'll go with Iowa. I need the Big Ten to look strong. So that fits the narrative I'd love to push at the end of the season. So let's go with it. Next round, as the world keeps spinning, I'm going to just try to reload that. Miami, who, you know, has to
Okay.
take on Drake.
I have
Now,
some choice words on this one, but I'm gonna let you go first, and I'm gonna let you know. I'm gonna let you know what it is.
okay, I will. I'm gonna keep it simple and brief because I really want you to have the floor for this one. But I know that Miami is a team that tends to perform pretty well in the tournament. Um, I I I don't like Miami's odds here. I think I'm going to be going against the grain, but I'm going to leave
Mm-hmm.
this in. I'm going to let James tell the folks why.
Yep.
Although I have done my research, I did learn a lot in the last couple of days, but I'm going to let James
I,
preach.
I'm a Valley, essentially a Valley lifer. I was in the MAC for 1 year. I've played against this Drake team the last 3 years. This is essentially the same team that went to the tournament and beat Wichita State and won another game a couple years ago when Joseph Yusefu got hot. Difference was the player who would have been the player of the year that year broke his foot in January. He's the starting point guard on this team. His first team all conference. Roman Penn. Watch the name. He's one of the best players in this tournament. They've got a top 50 recruit in Tucker DeVries. He won player of the year in the Valley, coach's son. They've got 3 starters back from that team. 3 others. They got DJ Wilkins. Garrett Sturtz is the hard hat guy. Put a hard hat on, man. Get ready. He's going to beat you up. And then Darnell Brody, they got a big man. I think Drake's one of the most dangerous small major teams in this tournament. I am all over this upset. I am Drake 100% here.
I'm going to help you hammer it in
There
because
we
not
go.
only
Yes.
is it happen like historically the Valley.
12-5.
Look it up.
It's Valley. Like,
That's who
awful drop for
you think
Miami.
made the 12-5 thing popular, man. It was the Valley.
Yep.
Look it up. All
The
right, we're
Valley of
locking
Death
it
is what
in.
it used to be called, and it's going to be for Miami this week.
Absolutely. I agree with you on all that. Yeah, DeVries is the name that gets a lot of the attention, especially, he's got the coach's son connection, and
Yep.
that's another cool story too. But yeah, give me that all day. And that leads us right up to one that is really gonna hurt
Here's the
me a
personal
lot.
bias, Kev.
Yep.
Kev's personal bias is
Mm-hmm.
he's a Kent State fan. No, he is not, guys. He is not. He is a big time IU basketball fan.
This is tough, yeah, because I'm a lifetime IU basketball fan, but
Mm-hmm.
I have my coaching roots planted in the MAC. So
You do, yes.
I
Kent
I
State's
know a little
always really
bit.
good too.
Yeah, I know a little bit about this Kent State team, and I am nervous. It's so weird because
They're
I
good. It's
genuinely could see IU being an Elite Eight team because they're kind of a streaky team. They have, of course, Jackson, but they have Hood Shafino as well. Like Indiana can get out there and score, but this Kent State team. Sorry, what were you going to say, James? Because they're a good
they're
squad.
really good. I think they got a big man that's really good. I just I think in a game like this, I think Trace Jackson Davis is the type of game he can just take over.
Yeah.
That's what I think. Are you going to go different? I know you're worried. You seem a little worried for your boys.
I'm worried, and I'm worried about a jinx. I think if I pick against them, they'll win.
Yeah.
But
I'm going to let you make this pick.
yeah, I'm gonna give them. I have to. I have to give them at least this
Mm-hmm.
win. But I do not like this matchup. I think Kent State
Understandably,
could
I
beat a
agree.
lot of teams in this tournament, and Indiana has been very inconsistent. There are times where they look incredible. They beat Purdue twice. There are other times you want to turn the television off because you I don't know. So go Hoosiers. We're gonna
Yep.
lock it in with all the confidence in the world. Now, here was the fun one we were talking about
Uh-huh.
earlier, James.
Yep.
So in our
This
world, this
is
is a Mississippi
Mississippi State.
State,
Yep.
Iowa State, first to 40 wins. Who do you got in
I think
this
it's
one?
Mississippi State. I think they just bully ball them. I really do.
You know what? I am going to jump on this train, but for a completely different reason, and it's because we have seen since the inception of the first four, we've seen
Mm-hmm.
what gets called the trampoline teams. We do see, it doesn't happen every year, but we have seen a couple of teams where they win that first four game and then they win a game or two in the actual
Mm-hmm.
tournament as well. So give me Mississippi State for that. I for whatever reason, I just really don't like this Iowa State team.
I agree.
I don't like them at 6. I think they are ripe for the picking. Mississippi State here.
Yep. I agree.
Let's see, Xavier. Now this one is a little close to home here, of course, here in
Yeah,
Ohio. I
not
don't
too
know
far from
why
you, bud.
CBS is giving me such a hard time now, but we got the 3 seed Xavier up against the 14. Who you got in this one, James?
I think Xavier, good for Kennesaw State. I think it's their first tournament ever, but I am all in on Xavier. I think Xavier's really good.
Lock it in. We won't get the preview this time. Now, what do we got here? A&M and
I
Penn
think
State,
I
right?
think A&M's criminally underseeded. They went to the title game of the SEC They were second in the regular season and then second in the tournament. They got seventh. Like, yikes! I think
Yeah,
they are underseeded.
this could be one of those, you talked about it earlier. The Big Ten might not be in for a great performance. This is one that I don't
Exactly.
see Penn State winning. Yeah, give me A&M on this one.
That is the what time is that game?
Look, that's a 10 p.m. game, and
Oh,
it's
that's
it's
late.
kind of a gift to all of us because it may not be that close. Although I've heard some good things about Penn State. Of all
It
the Big
might.
Ten teams, I have they're one of the ones I haven't watched the
I watched
most,
a
to
little
be
bit on
honest.
Sunday, or Sunday when they were in the championship game, and they got it close at the end. So I don't think it's out of the
That
realm.
big, that Big Ten tournament was like, Ohio State was a grenade that got lobbed into the middle of that
Yeah, it just
tournament.
blew.
Like,
Yeah, it just messed everything
what
up.
was going on? Oh, so we'll have what? Texas now. We talked about teams that have
Oh, they're
underperformed historically,
sneaky.
but I, is this another team that bucks their trend and goes on a run? I kind of like this Texas team right now. They've beat a lot of really good teams. You see right there, they've played a lot.
Man, they played the
15.
Big 12, which is just nuclear. There's so many good teams. Colgate had a really good year. Texas just won the Big 12, upset Kansas. They had their own issues, lost their head coach middle of the season, have just rolled. They're playing for each other. I like Texas, and I like a deep run from Texas
I
here.
like Texas, same, and you mentioned it, and I think you hit on why Texas is a threat in my book
Mm-hmm.
to make a deep run because they lost their coach in the middle of the year, and I
Yep.
think dealing with that's can be kind of a make or break thing for a locker room, and I think the fact that they've
Mm-hmm.
come through on the other side and have already accomplished something like that Big 12 championship is nothing to sneeze at this
Mm-hmm.
year on top. I mean, it
No,
never is, but especially
this
this
year,
year.
yeah.
And so that's a team that now has a lot of confidence. They've conquered a lot of adversity and they've won basketball games. Who could beat them other than themselves? I would love, and there's a good possibility we could see a Houston
Mm-hmm.
and Texas game. Now that'd be a lot of chalk on this here bracket, so we'll see if we get there. But that takes us right into Houston,
Yeah.
Iowa.
Mm-hmm.
How close is this one going to be? Does Iowa have a chance in your
I
mind,
don't. I
James?
think they have a chance. It really depends on Houston's best player. Is he gonna? When is he healthy? How long is that? Marcus Sasser, there is player of the
Mm-hmm.
year. How long? If he's out for this game, it's closer. I still think Houston gets it done. Iowa does have Keegan Murray's twin brother, who is playing out of his mind right now.
Yeah.
I think
Is it
it's Keegan's
Chris? Yeah,
Chris Murray. Yes, Chris, yes, they
Chris
look
Murray. Yep.
exactly the same. You could very well just be playing for the Kings and then flying back and playing for Iowa too. Who knows? But I like Houston in this one
And
pretty
they got the
handily.
McCaffrey, so or Connor McCaffrey. I thought they don't they have twins? There are two McCaffreys over there. Anyway,
Yeah,
um,
I don't think they're twins. I think they're brothers, but I don't think twins.
either way, okay. So yeah, Iowa. By no means is this a a scrub team, but I like Houston, especially if they're healthy, like you said. So, any argument on me locking Houston in for this one?
Nope. Mm-mm.
Let's do it. And next is, mm, we are at odds here.
I know. Kev, I will tell you in the bracket I was right now today, I put Drake to win this game. And I can see it either way. I've watched both these teams a ton. I can see Trace Jackson Davis giving Drake a just destroying them and give him a handful. I can see Rome. I can see Brody being able to handle him. I can see Roman Penn, Tucker having games. I can. This one's wild.
I am very nervous. I mean, shoot, I was already nervous about Kent State. So,
Yeah.
uh, and again, I've heard people who get paid a lot more money than I do to talk about college basketball say that they wouldn't be surprised to see Indiana or make a deep run. I've heard some say that IU has a better chance than
Mm-hmm.
Purdue to win a national title
Yep.
this year. I don't have them in my final four yet mentally at any point, but I I acknowledge that there's a lot of talent there. I mean, some people say that Jackson Davis could have been player of the year. I know that a lot of those people root for Indiana. So, but
Hmm.
anyway, he's an elite level player.
Yep.
They have great talent there. They could win this game. Um, I guess
You pick
I
it. I'm in either way. I can see it both ways here.
I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna be a team player. I'm gonna do it for the Valley, and knowing
Oh,
that
baby. Drake to the Sweet 16.
I'm gonna submit multiple brackets later. All right, so my
So, okay,
family
let's have a debate on
will
this,
not
Kev. So,
see this. We'll redact it.
okay,
No.
so multiple brackets. So I'm doing multiple different ones, and I've been debating this. Do I submit multiple brackets, or do I just go all in on one and submit it in all of them? I've been debating this. I don't know.
Hmm. That's a good question.
There shouldn't be
I,
any. There shouldn't be too many overlap of people in each of them. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, Trev. He knows. Trev
yep.
knows. Trev knows. He's
Yep.
a
He
Valley guy.
does.
What do you think?
I'm of.
I was debating this today. I don't know.
It's a good question. I'm of two minds of it now. I learned the hard way that yeah, if you make a goofball one, if you're gonna go multiple, you can't get too crazy with it. Like I know a
Yeah,
lot of these things they want to do where you can build a randomizer. If you do too many, you'll die inside
I
because one
think
of
at most I'll
those.
do is two.
Yeah, I would say yeah,
And
because
change my title winner and change a couple, maybe some upset
yep,
that I'm all over the place on.
because I don't know about you, but even when I try to do multiple, I find that the more I look at the bracket, the more I get locked in on the matchups that I like. And there might be a handful, and it's usually between that 4 to 6, 11 to 14 range
Hmm.
where there's a couple of games I could pick. Usually, of course, there's an 8 or 9 you could throw in there. But
Yep.
very rarely am do I have two completely different Sweet 16s when I sit down, even if I make two different brackets. There's going to be a lot of
Yep.
overlap.
Hmm.
And I think that makes it easier for me to have a rooting interest. I don't want to have seven fantasy football teams either. I don't want to be
It's the
like,
same argument. You bunch of different
"Oh,
fantasy teams where
yeah.
you're like, oh, I got Derrick Henry here, but I also have Paris Campbell here and
So
Jonathan
what am
Taylor
I
here.
rooting for
Yeah,
again?
exactly.
Yeah.
I'm the
No,
same.
keep it
I narrowed mine down.
simple.
Okay,
Yeah, that's my vote. And also, like I said, I got burned last
one
year doing the
maybe two.
multiples.
One maybe two. I
Yeah, I
also did
like it.
bracket today, and I have a feeling once I look at it tomorrow, I flipped it over, and I'm not going to look back, but I'm going to go back and look at it and be like, I'm pretty sure this is what I want. Like I'm going to confirm my own. You know.
Always go with your gut,
Yep.
except in
Hmm.
this case, which I will revert and, never mind. We're not going to talk about that 12-4 matchup
Yep.
anymore. I'm just going to have a super secret bracket that I
Yep.
don't tell anyone about. But it goes, it's also a good gambler's advice, right? You bet against your team, and either way, you're good because either you're going to win your bet
Hmm.
or your team's going to win, and one should help lessen the sting from the other. So, will Xavier be able to get through Mississippi State's vaunted defense, or are they
I
going to get bottled up?
I think the defense isn't the issue. I think it's the fact that Mississippi State can't score. Like I think Mississippi State's run ends here because they
Yeah,
just can't score.
they are a beneficiary of a very favorable matchup if they get through
Yes,
that. They get through that first four. That's
I
what we
agree.
think will
Yep.
get them there.
Hmm.
But then it ends. Now the battle,
This is
one of
so former Big 12
multiple,
rivals.
yeah, and a potential, one of many battles of Texas potentially in this bracket.
Yeah.
What do you like? I mean, we're pretty high on Texas, right? But you had some nice
Hmm.
things to say about A&M.
I watched them play. They're really good. They got second in the SEC regular season tournament. They hit 2 losses in their last 10. Beating Vanderbilt was hot. Arkansas's in the tournament. Bama's in the tournament. Mississippi
Yeah,
State they
beat
lost to in the
Bama.
tournament. Tennessee's in the tournament. Missouri's in the tournament. Man, I lean towards Texas, but it's not much, man. It's not much.
Yeah, I'm sticking with Texas for now.
I think so too.
I like Texas in this one, and yeah, I think I'm gonna probably like them. What do we think here? Does
I
it
think
does the
this is
Valley
what
stop?
I think this is where the magic ends. I think by this point, Sasser is healthy. I think this is a better game than you
Probably,
think,
yeah.
but I think this is where Drake's magic ends.
Yeah, I like that. At 1%, as a
Yeah,
wise man
that's
once
just us
said.
down there. Yep.
So you're telling me there's a chance?
Exactly. Yes.
I I I have to agree with you there.
Yep, I
I
think
do
this is
think
it. Yep.
it could be a close game, especially if Sasser isn't quite
Yeah, if
back.
he's not
Then
quite
it's a
there, then
different
it's a
story,
little
maybe.
different. Yes.
But yeah, we'll keep Houston going now. At the risk of running another, now we're not chalk here, but somehow, some way, we keep
I
getting these
know.
ones and twos
Hey, we had
matched
Bama
up.
and Creighton.
Yeah. So, do you see anything outside of our desire to be different that makes you want to pick
No,
Xavier over
no, I
Texas?
love
Because
Texas. I watched them. I love Texas.
I like the idea of Houston
Now
versus Texas.
the question then becomes: is Houston become the first team since Butler to play the Final Four in their hometown?
I think I I'm gonna go with a yes. What are you gonna go with, James? I'm
I like them if Sasser's healthy, so I'm going to agree with you. If he is not, I could see them bouncing at any moment.
yeah.
They didn't
Maybe
look as good without him.
maybe this is the Texas pick. Yeah, man, they are just really
Yeah.
They now it just died on us. So I
Yep.
will hide that for a second. I am assuming this is just due to an abundance of usage
Probably would be my
on the
guess.
tournament brackets here. Oh yeah, we're back. Not to worry.
Didn't lose
So
anything good. I think
no,
we'll both go with Houston. I think that's the play here.
yeah, and I may now, especially if we end up with another number one in here, in my own bracket, I may end up switching this at some point. Oh
Oh
yeah,
yeah,
Trevor
Trev
had to
knows.
bring this
You
up.
know,
Yeah,
gosh, the half court shot that everybody thought was going in against Duke.
yep.
Man,
Man, I was a part-time Butler fan for that. Yeah, of course. Of course, us Indiana boys
oh
were in for
yes,
that.
everybody was all in on
Man,
that.
that one was brutal. So now we'll go to the
The
next
final one.
quadrant, which is the West. All right. Number one,
Yep, we'll
Kansas.
push him on through. Bill Self is supposed to be back for the tournament. It sounds like he got out of the hospital, so he is back.
that is that is great news.
That is correct, Trev. Everybody remembers where they were at when that shot went up. Everybody knows.
Ooh, that was a fun one. Hopefully we get anything close to that. If we get a
Oh
final
yes, it'd
something
be
like
so cool.
that, we will be very happy. Arkansas, Illinois. Now, Illinois
I
is a bit of an enigma to
I
me. It
have
depends
not
on.
watched Illinois at all, so I want to just state the obvious. I don't know anything about him. Haven't seen him play once. I have seen Musselman's team play. Saw the outburst at the tournament last weekend. I don't know, Kev. Do you have any rooting interest in this? I don't have a clue.
They, yeah, I mean, I think I'm gonna go with Illinois here. They do have Shannon, so
Terrence Shannon's really good. Played in the tournament. Like he's a good player.
yeah,
He was at Texas Tech.
I don't like. I mean, yeah, like I look at neither of these teams are in a great spot to me right now. Like this is
Yeah,
one of
I don't
those.
like either of them.
I don't like either of them to favor against Kansas. But give me. Let me look. I want to actually look at their final 10 to see. That might help me decide. Right now, I'm leaning Illinois. But why? Where's the? There we go. Last 10. I want to see. Maybe Arkansas will have a couple wins on here that will change my mind. No, it seems
Yeah,
Arkansas.
like it's just
Yeah,
the same.
they're beating non-tournament teams and losing to tournament teams. And then let's see. Well, they do have a win over Kentucky, and then Illinois is more of the same.
And you
I
got
mean, they did beat
Northwestern win.
Northwestern, but then they got Rutgers, Minnesota. Yeah, they're not beating the
I
other
just
tournament teams. I
I don't have a I
Both of
don't
these
have
teams might be overseeded to me. Give me Illinois, I guess. Do you want
yeah, I
Arkansas?
mean let's go with Illinois. They're an hour from me. Let's do that. Just cheat this system. I
Big Ten
don't have an
bias.
answer.
I told
Yes.
you know
Yep.
I am who
I
they are who we
love
thought they were.
yes, I love this matchup. I hate that it's two
Mm-hmm.
quasi mid majors against each other. VCU dominated. They were the best team in the A10 this year. St. Mary's WCC was really good. Their defense is really good. I haven't watched them a ton. Again, West Coast. I tend to lean towards St. Mary's. I'm blown up.
VCU?
But I could see it. VCU's athletic. They got good players. I got a big man that was great.
9-game win streak.
Scroll down just a little bit more. Does it say Baldwin was the guard? They had a. Let me see if I have. I don't think it was him. They had a big man that was really good yesterday. Let me see.
Yeah, and while you look that up, I'll talk about the Gales a little bit because it is a tough one. Of course. What did they? So they split the regular season title with Gonzaga. It's always a two
Yep.
horse race out there, isn't it?
Yep. Yep.
And oh man, I have such a
It's
love hate
tough.
with both these teams in that conference because they always let me down. Every time I'm ready to say, hey,
Yeah,
I'm
I
gonna pick
get
one of
you.
these guys, they don't do it. So I'm really leaning towards
What is
VCU
him?
in this one. I
Can't
don't
remember.
want to do that, Gales, but
Trying to figure out who this player was that went off yesterday.
I do love that top 10 defense.
Their defense is really good. Might have been Jalen Deloach. He had 13 and 10. Let's see if I don't think this is it either. I had 13 and 8, so I'm confusing myself right now. They had a big man that was really really good. I was really impressed with. I did not write his name down, but I like. I don't. What do you think, Kev? Do you gotta? What do you think about it?
I was leaning VCU, and then I think you've talked me into it. So
Let's do it. Adrian Baldwin had 16.7 assists yesterday, one turnover. Let's do it. Let's go
if they
VC. Let's
do
go with the
have
Rams.
this good big man you're talking about, I think that bodes well for them as far as trying to crack
Yeah.
the Gales' defensive front. So here's another. We talked about some fun storylines. This is a rare instance of a low seed getting a little home court love. These two
Yeah.
teams are very close to each other. So
Yes.
uh, that being said, UConn's the big dog here clearly, but Iona, they got a nice little win streak going on. What are your thoughts here, James? You know anything about Iona in particular? Other than
That Rick Pitino's the coach.
Yep, I was about to
That's
say,
all I
other than
know.
the one thing everybody knows, that Rick Pitino will soon no longer be the coach
Oh.
there.
I have to correct myself. It was so I may have talked us into a bad pick, but we're sticking with VCU. It was Dayton's big man that was really good yesterday. He had 28 and
Oh,
16.
look at that.
28, 16, and 5. He was stellar. They were wearing white, or they were wearing baby blue, so it was just stuck in my head. I was just confused. We're still sticking with VCU. I like UConn here. UConn's really good.
I like it.
And then Rick Pitino's going to bolt for St. John's.
Yeah, I would say Rick Pitino's got maybe 1 foot out the door already.
Bingo.
So teams will react one of two ways there, unfortunately. I don't know if it'll be enough for, they could want to, let's win one for coach. Let's make this run. But it's not like he's retiring. I think it's a different impact when, coach is leaving for a bigger pond. I don't know if
it's a little different. Yes.
Kids will react to that incredibly well. TCU in the 6th seed. I can't remember. We both had Nevada in this one. So
we took Nevada.
Switch that up here.
I don't think it matters who gets through. I don't think they're beating TCU. I think TCU is pretty solid.
Agreed. While that takes a while to think about it, we'll just push the Horned Frogs right on through. Now, here's the other WCC team that disappoints me all the time. So, is it finally going to be the time for Drew, Timmy, and company to cut down those big old championship nets? Boy, well, I guess I'm putting the cart and
let's just not jump too far out here, Kev.
Can they take care of this 14 seed Grand Canyon?
They absolutely can. Good for Grand Canyon. Second tournament in 3 years. They're not going to win this game.
Yeah, good for Grand Canyon, too. I would not be able to focus if I was trying to do my homework in an actual canyon. So, I mean, I can't imagine how they get Wi-Fi down there, but,
Who knows, man? Who knows? It's also, here's a fun Grand Canyon fact. It's a for-profit university.
Oh.
They also have one of the best student sections in America because you get a credit if you go to X amount of sporting events per semester.
I wish. Why did they not come? They could have easily. I'd have given them my money to go to school there.
Right?
Man, we missed out.
That is. They have a great student section. It's because you get credits if you go to games. So let's go.
I still have student section eligibility. I think I might.
Probably. I don't think your student section eligibility ever rolls. I don't think it's like the 6-year clock.
I don't think they'll let me play, but that's probably.
You can.
I
think you're good.
Let's lock in the Zags, but here's a fun one.
Mm-hmm.
Northwestern making their second appearance ever. and also they're second in the last 6 years, I believe.
Yep.
So
With
going
a
up
bunch of
against,
losing seasons in between there.
yeah, not quite a trend reversal all the way.
Mm-mm.
This may be a bit of an anomaly, but they've had a pretty decent season. They've beaten some good teams in the Big Ten. What do you think about Boise, though, here? I admittedly don't know
I
much
don't know
about
anything about them. That's the problem.
the
And for a college basketball
Broncos.
preview show, this is really pathetic for on our
Most
parts.
underrated teams, but here's what I will say: this has been the Mountain West. We talked about the Big Ten. The Mountain West is the other conference I think that has a
Yes.
lot to prove.
Top
So
35 scoring defense. I'm impressed right there. Only allowing 64.1 a game. I guess the question is, do we believe in Northwestern? What are your thoughts there?
I like Boo Booey, as you can
He's
see, a
good.
little
He's really
foreshadow
good.
here.
Yeah.
Um, you know, I'm gonna go against the grain and against my own instincts, and also against my rooting interest. I'm gonna pick Boise here. I
Let's do it.
genuinely,
I'm going to go with Boise because of the colors and because the Statue of Liberty play they ran the Orange Bowl.
yeah, there you go. Yeah, I just don't think this is where the Big Ten. I'm going to be wrong about this one, and this is exactly where
Yes,
the
this
Big
can be
Ten
the
is going
game
to
you're
get
on.
their
Yeah.
wins. Yep. So for your own betting sake, pick Northwestern.
Yeah.
But for some reason, I just feel it's wrong. UCLA. No, this is wow.
I like
Go ahead.
UCLA here. The problem being long term is UCLA's got problems.
You got problems, and it could
Defensive
be.
defensive
Ooh,
player of the year's out. He it says Achilles injury. I assume torn Achilles. I don't know for sure. And then so it's one of those. It might be the I don't know what his name was, but
it's Jalen Clark
is it
out for
Jalen? Yeah,
season.
Achilles. Yeah,
Yep.
out for season. And then one of those other two guys hurt his shoulder in the tournament. There it is. And I just don't. You don't know. Just like we talked about with Steph on the bounce about his shoulder injury, you just don't know
Yep.
on those things. I don't know what it is, how bad it is. No, this is a lot of the same guys back from the team that went to the Final Four. Jamie Jacques is stellar. Tiger Campbell's really good.
Yep.
But those losses are big. The defensive player of the year in the league, that's a big deal, man. It's a big deal.
That is, you've maybe impacted one of my future choices. Obviously, I
You're
think we're
gonna
both
hate
in
what I try to
agreement.
argue with you here pretty soon.
We're gonna lock UCLA in here, but yeah, I think there's a lot of, and we will get to it here in a second. But I think there's a very popular matchup that people are expecting right here that I don't think. I think one of the keys to winning your bracket will be not picking that because
Yep.
everyone else is going to pick it, and I think it's going to be wrong. But let's talk about Kansas versus Illinois. Wow, what year was that? Was that the D
That
Brown?
was D Brown.
Yeah, let's go.
Uh-huh. God, Deron
There we
Williams.
go. Yep.
Luther
Oh, that
was
was
Luther Head on those teams.
yeah.
That
Brian Cook.
yeah. Those the Illinois teams were so fun.
Throwbacks, boys. What do you think, though? I don't think this Illinois team has a chance.
Nope.
We've already talked at length about how good this Big 12 is, and Kansas is one of the best in the bunch. So, yeah, easy one here. Kansas takes Illinois down.
Yep. No questions asked.
Locked in.
Lock it in, bud.
And we are going now to the Rams versus UConn.
This is
Now,
fun.
I think I'm going UConn. I was high on the Rams until
I think so too.
that
I think
switcheroo.
UConn sneaky good. I'm gonna agree with you. Let's go with UConn. Back to the Sweet 16.
Let's go Big East. We're making the Big East look pretty good today. Now is maybe when it's gonna start to get a little spicy in here. TCU versus Gonzaga. James,
I'm gonna let you go.
Oh,
You're gonna let me go first because I think I know where you're going. I think
you think you know where I'm going?
Mhm.
But see, I think I might surprise you here,
okay,
but maybe
okay.
not. I'm going with the Horned Frogs.
See,
I'm going with
I thought you were too. See, and I think
Okay.
Gonzaga. I think Gonzaga is sneaky,
I hope
sneaky
you're right.
good. Like it'd make you
I
happy
hope
if I'm
you're
good. If Trev's still around, we got to have somebody pick this for us.
Yeah, we got Gonzaga or TCU. I mean, for the record, I want it to be Gonzaga.
Drew Timmy and the stash is still there. They don't have the high end guys. I just think they're underrated. Now TCU got I don't know what his name is. Came back from injury. Mike Miles. He's really good. That boy's good. He was shooting over 40% from three. Oh, Trev coming in hot here.
Ooh, okay. Well, in that case,
You lose, Kev. The audience
listen,
has spoken.
listen. I have walked this path before, but I will do
I
it.
have.
At
It's the
least
only
this time
time
I don't walk it alone.
them losing in the national title game to North Carolina haunts me. Like that, I loved that Gonzaga team. They were so good.
Yep. I I think I had picked it that. I mean, as I'm sure a lot of people did that
It was
year, but yeah,
they were so
that's one
good.
that stings. And how about this one now? The matchup I was talking about that I thought everyone should pick or should pick against is UCLA Gonzaga because I just think odds are the
One of them's going to go wrong.
one of them something's going to go wrong for one of them, right? So it seems like you're kind of leaning towards that something might go wrong for UCLA, but does it go wrong in this round or will they make it to see Gonzaga?
I don't know, Kev. Are we gonna? Wow, Boise has a tougher schedule than UCLA, huh?
Yeah, the Mountain West, I
Kev, I'm
underrated.
gonna do it. I'm gonna give the 10 seed. Boise State, another double-digit team to the Sweet 16. I'm gonna say
Let's
the
do it.
injuries catch up to UCLA here.
Let's do it. I'm all in. Let's have some fun with that. That clears the path for Gonzaga to
Yeah.
maybe outkick their coverage. In my opinion,
Mm-hmm.
that'll be great. Kansas versus UConn. As much as I like UConn, I
I
mean, I
Kansas.
love this
We
Kansas
haven't
team.
debated it much. We haven't talked about this. Kansas might be my pick to win the title.
Yeah,
I've debated this a lot. I
they're up
hate
there
that
now.
they might win back to backs, but
Yeah, it kind of makes up for that 2020 season, doesn't it?
yes,
Um,
I
but
agree.
that what I was interested in, I didn't realize until I just pulled this up, was seeing the net rank that UConn actually ranked
Yeah,
higher
right. That's
than
kind of that is
Kansas.
kind of. But I guess that's a testament to the Big East was really good this year.
Yeah, absolutely, and I think they will show it as we've pointed out in other regions of this bracket. But yeah,
Mm-hmm.
give me Kansas in this one,
Yep, KU.
and let's see. Well, I'm gonna let you start here,
Oh
James.
yeah,
We already know if we have a tiebreaker, we already know
yep.
the tie's already
I
broken.
I
So
am Zags all day, baby.
Zags all day in this
I,
matchup. Give me the Zags, but I
yep.
think it would be
Mountain
great to see
West,
Boise
great
State get
Boise
here,
run, but it comes to an end.
and it would be
Yep.
great for Gonzaga to
Our
get there.
final,
So
our final, final four team,
we
Kev.
are in the yeah, we're almost to it.
Yep. Man, I love Kansas, but and I know you hate Gonzaga. I could see Gonzaga doing it this year. I could see him going to the Final Four this year.
Oh, you know what? I love Kansas. Gonzaga irritates me to no end because they should have done it already, and
Yep,
they made me look stupid in front of all my friends.
that's true. Yes.
But we'll go, especially because we've got Trevor, we've got
Fan
the
sport.
back behind it, we've got the support. Let's go Zags! All right,
Zags to the Final Four, baby.
put the Zags into the Final Four. Let's do it. Why not? So there we have a Final Four locked in. So
So
it's
we
time.
have. Oh, we did go
One,
two
two,
one
and one,
seeds,
three.
1-1-2-1.
I don't mind it. I think that's perfectly reasonable, and
Yep.
it should be noted. I mean, we almost always get at least one seed, don't we? I
Yeah. There's
mean,
always one. It's
yeah.
very rare that there's no more than there's not just at least one.
So you're gonna have to have it in there. I feel good about this. It may change a
Yep.
couple to 7 times between now and Thursday, but who do you want to pick first? Do you have
Oh
a
man,
preference?
I hate that I like Bama. I hate it. I hate the story around them. I hate what's going on.
Yeah, it could be a tale of overcoming adversity, but yeah, some of the yeah, basically everything that's going on around it just kind of makes you wish they weren't in this position, but
Yeah,
they're, they're so good.
they are so good. Number one strength. I'm going to give Bama the win here, and then I'm picking against them in the title game. I'm saying around. Doesn't matter who we choose. I'm going against them.
Can't pick them to win it all. You know, I want to pick Marquette here, but this has been an exercise in
If you like Marquette, I'm
self
all
control.
about it. Let's do it. Let's do it. Nah, let's change it.
I was gonna say I don't think Marquette can win this game, but I like them because that's what I was gonna say. I was like, as much as I like Marquette, I think this has to go to Alabama. So I don't know. You know what? I'm gonna give it to Bama,
Okay.
but
The
you're gonna like.
question is, who are they going to play? Are they
Yeah,
playing Houston or Gonzaga?
I think it could come down to whether or not Houston's at full strength, and if Houston's at full
You're
strength,
talking that the Final Four would be 3 weeks from this weekend. So you're talking 3.5 weeks from now to get Sasser's growing healthy. And they haven't announced anything. He went through warmups yesterday, didn't play. Obviously, very smart move. Yeah, they lost, but it didn't hurt them.
yeah.
I think he's healthy by then. I think Gonzaga loses again in the Final Four. Hearts broken again. Houston on their home court is
Oh.
going to the national title game.
Houston going. I was ready. I was ready if you were picking
Really?
Gonzaga. I was ready to say, you know what, we're going for it. I'll go down with the ship one more time. But since you are going with Houston, that's who I would have to pick.
Yeah.
I know it seems maybe doesn't seem as far fetched now that we've had things like Tampa play at a Super. Like I think we've had multiple teams now play home
Mm-hmm.
Super Bowls, so I
Yep.
don't think it's becoming as like, oh, that's so crazy that would happen. So I think we're getting more used to this type of thing. And Houston, it's still going to be cool when they take
Yep.
it down
Mhm. I agree.
at home against Bama, right? I mean, we're picking that just because that's what we want. But realistically, I think Houston. Do you think Houston matches up well enough with Bama? Let's check it out.
I do. I think Houston wins. I think it's the year. Houston's been to a Final Four recently. They're really good. I think it's Houston's year.
I'm going
Karma's
with
going to
it.
catch Bama at some point.
It's got to happen. It's got to happen for Houston. I like it. Like you said, plenty of time for Sasser to get healthy. Of course, maybe not all Hoosier fans fall into this, but I am not a guy who doesn't love Kelvin Sampson.
Yeah.
I want to see him succeed. So go Cougars. I'm all about it.
Yep.
Lock it in. Give me nostalgia for Hakeem and Clyde for some Phi
Yep.
Slamma Jamma.
Let's
Right
do it.
those wrongs that you've felt all those years ago at the hands of NC State. It's about time Houston got themselves a title after all.
Yep.
Sorry, Trev. We got the
Sorry,
Zags to the
Bama.
Final
Yeah,
Four
we
at
did. We
least.
did. We gave him all the way to the Final Four. I am happy with that.
We managed to do that, and we'll give them one final view of the whole thing here.
Mm-hmm.
I thank you so much, James. I know we're going on about 90 minutes here, so I can wrap this up here
Yeah.
soon. But I want to say thank you for coming on. I
Thank
had
you,
a
man. That's a lot of
blast.
fun. I can't wait to see how this one turns out.
Same, and I will be absolutely open. I think what we'll do here on the channel is, probably for the Sweet 16 and Elite 8 and Final Four, we'll probably repick based on the field
Yeah.
that's
Yeah. We'll
left.
just go
So
back and repick. Yeah.
yeah,
Absolutely.
if you want to join me for that, that would be
Yep.
awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, those of you watching at home, you can catch us on Stadium Rant every Thursday at 9 p.m. Eastern. But James, where else can they find you?
I always do this wrong. Twitter,
Twitter.
right there, right there. Schmeitzo6 on Twitter. You can hear me ranting about college basketball, the NBA, and how bad Titans have done in free agency so far.
Hey, have you guys done anything? We didn't even do
We
Colts.
signed a backup lineman from Philly, and we've let players walk. And I don't know what's going on anymore. You can't draft 27 players in the draft. We don't have those kind of picks.
Yeah, that's the thing. Hey, you're into the bonus part of the show now, guys. We're going to talk a little NFL here because
Yeah,
I have some gripes too about the Colts
yeah.
inactivity.
They haven't done anything either. Like,
The best move the Colts have made today was the Raiders signed Brandon Faison. That was the best thing that happened for the Colts today.
I'm confused. Like,
Signed Tyquan Lewis.
Tennessee,
That's
they signed. I think his name's Andre Dillard. He's the backup left tackle for the Eagles. He was a starter and then got hurt, and somebody took over, and he hasn't really played. Like, I don't know if they're going to play him at tackle or guard. Like, I don't know. And Tennessee will let David Long walk today, and Nate Davis, starting lineman, starting middle linebacker.
it's a tough one. Yeah,
I'm like,
Colts
where?
lost Bobby Okereke today
I
to the
saw that.
Giants. 40 million man. More power to him. He has earned that
Yeah,
money. Well
I'm
done. We
just
knew he
like,
was going to get it, but
Tennessee doesn't have a ton of cap room, but I'm also like, we don't have any linemen at the moment. So we signed him. He's going to start somewhere. We got a right tackle. I don't. We cut our center. We cut our left tackle. We just let our right tackle walk. We have the 11th pick, which is 1,000,000% going to be Peter. I can't say his last name from Northwestern or Paris Johnson Jr. from Ohio State. If one of them's
yep,
coming,
yep.
I'm confused. I don't know if Tennessee is tanking. If we're going to do it, like I don't know. I'm confused on I just don't have any answers.
Are there any truth to the rumors I hear about Henry beating on the trade block? Because that just
I
seems
don't think he's.
asinine.
I don't
But
think he's on. Well, here's my thing. I think if you traded Derrick Henry the year after you traded AJ Brown, you'd lose the city of Nashville would riot, and you're not getting your stadium.
yeah, you're gonna rebuild around. You got to
Where are you going?
trade Tannehill
You're gonna
Tannehill
move.
away at that point just for
Yeah,
his own safety.
I
Because I
see
think if you
Tannehill moving more likely than him, especially if Aaron Rodgers retires or doesn't go to the Jets. I think the Jets would get desperate and try to make that trade. I could see that.
ooh
I hate it for Derrick Henry. He deserves better, but we've been put in this position now. One of the all-time great Titans drafts was Jeffrey Simmons in the first round. This was a couple years ago. Who he's about to get a big time contract. He's going to be a Titan. Well, if he isn't, I might find a new team. AJ Brown was the second round. They traded him because they got scared of him. They were scared of how mean he was to him. Nate Davis, the guard that just left, was in that draft. David Long was in that draft. They just let him go, and there's somebody else in there too. And it's just like, oh my god, guys, I don't know. The Titans worry the heck out of me right now. I just don't know.
it is our whole division is in shambles. If you're not a fan of the Jacksonville
And I
Jaguars,
love what they're doing. I love
yeah,
Calvin Ridley. They tagged Ingram. I love. If I'm Jack, I love what they're doing.
it's their
After
division to
2 years
win.
after being a complete bombshell joke of an NFL team, like
So who knows? We could turn it around. Right now, I am just patiently
who
waiting for Matt
who's
Ryan
your
to be cut.
who? Yeah, sounds like Friday maybe.
Has to be by Friday, or they have to pay him or they're out an extra 17 million.
So weird that he's not been cut already.
And
Who are who are the
yeah,
Colts going to draft? So now you've got the Panthers ahead of you. You've got
yeah.
the possibility that somebody could trade up to the Cardinals. What are your thoughts? Are you mad they didn't trade to one?
No, because I never expected them to trade to one because I've been around Chris Ballard in this organization. Well, I've been around it as a fan since I was a child, and I've seen what
Mm-hmm.
Chris Ballard would do. I did not ever expect him to trade up to one unless there was somebody, unless Andrew Luck was there. And I
Uh-huh.
don't, or at least let me be more clear, unless Chris Ballard deemed that the next
Mm-hmm.
Andrew Luck was there. And hearing him talk about things the way we heard it in the postseason press conference and all that stuff, you kind of just got the feeling there wasn't any quarterback that they are just
Mm-hmm.
head and shoulders above. We're drooling over this guy. There should be, in my opinion, and his name is C.J.
I
Stroud,
love
and
CJ Stroud.
I've
I
been
love him.
pumping this since week 7.
I
I've
like.
been
I'm not as. I don't. I love Bryce Young too. I don't. The height thing doesn't
oh
worry me.
yeah,
I
it
love
doesn't worry me
CJ
either.
Stroud's my favorite quarterback in this draft,
Yeah.
though.
CJ Stroud is it to me. I remember being laughed at on the Colts podcast because then we were only 3-4 or 3-4-1 or something, and people were like, "The
Mm-hmm.
Colts aren't going to be bad enough to be in the mix for CJ." I said, well, if we are, he should be the guy. And
And guess
now
what? They were.
he, unfortunately, it's so weird to hear that the Panthers have traded up and are now interested in potentially trading back down.
Yeah, and then there's
That's weird.
the talk that it's Anthony Richardson is the guy they went up to get.
That would
I,
be awesome. I think it could
which
be Will Levis. I just
I
feel
hope.
like that
Who are
reeks
I?
of Frank Reich.
No, I want Will Levis to go to the Colts. Sorry, bud.
No, 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 no. We can't have that. Tell me, I mean, everything I hear is that Will Levis is like his floor is Carson Wentz and his ceiling is Josh Allen or something. And I'm like, that just reeks of Frank Reich. Like he's gonna
Yes, it does.
take
Yes.
that's my guy right there. That's what I want.
Yeah,
Carson Wentz
I
2.0.
wouldn't I wouldn't want anything to do with him. I'll tell you that. I wouldn't. It's nothing.
Me either. I don't, and it's not about the mayonnaise or eating bananas whole. It's about the shifty footwork. He's got great arm talent,
He's
but
got a
just
cannon.
just like we talk about with the NBA, how I hate when a talented point guard, an athletic player, leaves his feet before he makes decisions.
Mm-hmm.
Great talent, great physical ability can lead to bad habits. And unfortunately, Will Levis has picked up a lot of really bad
Bad
habits
act.
that will get
Seriously,
him
bad act.
torn up in the
I agree.
pros. Yeah.
I want nothing to do with him. Like
Mm.
I didn't. Good for the Bears and getting what they did. I
Yeah.
love the fact that DJ Moore is in that. I would take DJ Moore over a future first round pick every day of the week.
They got it. They solved their biggest problem. I
Yeah.
am a maybe not their biggest, but one of their biggest problems was that Justin Fields didn't have anyone to throw to. I'm a
Mm-hmm.
big believer that Chase Claypool will be a contributing number 2 receiver there
Yeah.
now that they have DJ
If they
Moore
keep
and
if they keep Darnell
Mooney in the
Mooney,
slot.
yep. Yeah. Then all of a sudden, you re-sign David Montgomery in the back. Suddenly, their offense has got some weapons,
They got
and
Herbert too
you're
as
still
a
yeah
shifty
Herbert.
back.
Yeah, and then they got the ninth pick, so they're still going to get if they want a lineman to put in front of them or they want to get defense. Like Jalen Carter could fall going on. Nobody really knows with his situation what's going on. He could still be there. Like I was all about them trading out, and I love that they did it and got a certified player in the deal. It's like I am all about it.
So am I, and you got me thinking. That's going to be one of the next interactive streams we're doing here. Maybe
Oh,
start
draft
doing
one, yeah,
some mock drafts here as the
yeah, they're
time
coming.
comes up. But in the meantime, I know that our friends over at Stadium Rant on the Necessary Roughness channel, they're working their way
Mhm.
through mock drafts right now, doing complete rebuilds. They're doing more than just mock drafts. They're diving
Yes.
in free agents, cuts, all kinds of stuff. Basically, just from A to Z, how can you rebuild or work this? Not everybody needs a
Hmm.
rebuild, so how could you work this? So be sure to check that out. I was actually a guest on there, so if you want to know how John, Nick, and I think the Colts mock draft will play out, go check it out. So
Hmm.
James, hopefully they'll bring you on for the Titans episode,
So I
man.
can tell them that here, this guy, we're gonna draft him to block for the quarterback that we don't have, and the running back that we don't have, and the receiver that we traded last year. Big time down on Tennessee right now. Very down on what's going on over there.
It's a good thing we got basketball season to keep us
Hmm.
company. So
Yes.
yeah, yeah. Be sure to check us out every Thursday. We go live, and yeah, James. Hopefully, I hope to
Hmm.
have you on this show again
Thank you, man.
sometime
Thank you for
soon.
having me. I appreciate it, brother.
Yeah, thank you, and thank you to those of you. Thank you, Trevor, who were interactive in the chat. Appreciate you, sir, and thank you to everyone else who tuned in at home, and to those of you watching on Facebook, Twitter. If I didn't see your comments, I'm so sorry, but we
Yep.
appreciate you. We will get back to you, and we will see you on the next episode. Until then, take care.
Mhm.